Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys reveal plan for unproven Trey Lance entering 2024. The Dallas Cowboys have a plan for Trey Lance entering the 2024 season. The former number 3 overall draft pick was acquired in a notable trade from the San Francisco 49ers just prior to the conclusion of the preseason last year. The Cowboys acquired Lance in exchange for a fourth-round draft pick. However, he spent the entire season as the third-string quarterback behind Dak Prescott and Cooper Rush and didn't see any game action during the 2024 season. However, offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer is stressing that Lance will see tons of reps entering the season, including OTAs, minicamp and training camp. Via Clarence Hill of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, "It's gonna be all about getting him a ton of reps throughout OTAs, minicamp and then training camp," says Schottenheimer. "You're gonna see him getting a ton right leading into the preseason." The 24-year-old Lance has seen very little playing time since entering the NFL in 2021 as a top draft pick. Part of that is due to injuries, but part of it is also due to being unable to move up the depth chart. During his 3 seasons in the NFL, Lance has seen action in just 8 games and has started just 4 games. During those appearances, he's gone 2-2 as a starter and has 5 touchdowns against 3 interceptions for an 84.5 passer rating. He also has the ability to run the football, racking up 235 yards and a touchdown during those appearances. The passing numbers aren't bad, but they're not great. It also doesn't help that Lance hasn't appeared in a game since Week 2 of the 2022 season before he suffered a season-ending ankle injury. That marked the only time Lance was considered a starter in the NFL after entering the season first on the depth chart over Jimmy Garoppolo. It also doesn't help that Lance didn't see many reps in practice during the 2023 season as a third-string quarterback. That means by the time the 2024 season rolls around, it will have been nearly 2 full years since Lance, who started just 1 full season at an FCS program such as North Dakota State, has seen substantial reps. "The guy's obviously an unbelievable athlete, but we need to get him the reps," Schottenheimer stressed. "How do you learn to play the position of quarterback, unless you're playing right?" Schottenheimer, who is also in his 2nd season in Dallas, explains how Lance is a question mark due to the limited playing time and reps he's seen during his career. "We know Dak. We know Co-op. He is the question mark," Schottenheimer said. "There's so much he doesn't know that he's got to figure out. And so that's what's exciting about that. If he can be a really good player because he's wired the right way and the way he works. We just got to give them the opportunity to show us that with the year under his belt and being comfortable." With all 3 quarterbacks on the Cowboys roster entering the final year of their deals, Lance is auditioning not only for a spot on Dallas' roster next season, but potentially another NFL team's roster. When factoring in that Prescott could possibly be entering his final year as Cowboys starter, there may be an opening for the starting job next season for Lance. However, he has to be able to prove he can be a viable starter in the NFL by actually seeing time on the field. It looks like Dallas has a game plan to finally give Lance that opportunity entering next season. Cowboys could sign former first-round WR in low-risk free agency move. The Dallas Cowboys have been linked to several wide receivers recently, and they could turn to a former first-rounder for help. While Laquan Treadwell has not lived up to his draft billing in his career, he is in his athletic prime and looking for a new home. The Cowboys brought in Zay Jones for a visit recently, but Jones chose to sign with the Arizona Cardinals instead. As they move forward, there aren't a lot of quality options remaining in the market. Treadwell is in that group, as the receiver has struggled to hit the field over the past 2 seasons. But in terms of adding potential reinforcements to the wide receiver group, the Cowboys would struggle to find a cheaper, low-risk option. Treadwell has been playing on the NFL's minimum salary or close to it for the past 4 seasons. In fact, his average salary since 2019 has been less than $1 million per spot track. Considering he is a former first-round talent, it may be worth adding Treadwell just to see what he's got in the tank. Worst-case scenario, the Cowboys can still roll with their current WR group. While at Ole Miss, Treadwell was an exciting talent. After 2 promising seasons with the Rebels in 2013 and 2014, he exploded for 1,153 receiving yards and 11 touchdowns in 2015, and his draft stock skyrocketed. The Minnesota Vikings came calling at the 23rd overall pick and had high hopes for Treadwell. But his rookie season was a complete flop, as Treadwell made 1 catch for 15 yards in 9 games according to Pro Football Reference. Of course, the Vikings didn't give up on Treadwell after just 1 season. But it didn't get much better for either side, as Treadwell followed up his rookie campaign with a 200-yard campaign in 2017. Over 4 seasons in Minnesota, Treadwell caught 65 passes for 701 yards and 2 touchdowns. They let him loose after 2019, and he initially tried to bounce back with the Atlanta Falcons. While that didn't work, his stint with the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2021 showed what Treadwell can do. In 12 games, Treadwell caught 33 passes for 434 yards and a touchdown. Those aren't mind-blowing numbers, but they're respectable. But Treadwell would leave Jacksonville after that season, and has struggled to get his footing with the Seattle Seahawks and Baltimore Ravens in the 2 seasons since. While Martavis Bryant never made a regular season appearance for Dallas, his release on May 8 means the Cowboys potentially have space for a new veteran WR. Bryant was signed last November as Dallas prepared for their end-of-season push, but he is now on the move again just 6 months later. But while he's leaving DFW, the Cowboys may still see him twice next year. Bryant worked out for the Washington Commanders on May 15, although they haven't signed him at the time of writing. Bryant has not played in an NFL regular season game since 2018, but worked in the CFL and XFL to attempt a comeback. Just getting back into the NFL has been impressive, but Bryant clearly wants to get back to a regular role with a team. Adam Schefter reveals latest update on Dak Prescott contract talks. The Dallas Cowboys could have a very uncertain future beyond this coming season, and a lot of that uncertainty has to do with quarterback Dak Prescott's contract situation. He's under contract for just 1 more year, which means he would become a free agent in March 2025 unless he comes to terms with them on an extension before then. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, no noticeable progress has been made on contract talks between the 2 sides. Prescott has been the face of the Cowboys franchise since he was a rookie in 2016 and promptly took over the QB1 spot after Tony Romo suffered a vertebral compression fracture that essentially ended his career. While he has done very well in the regular season and was briefly a leading MVP candidate in 2023, he has a history of greatly underperforming in the playoffs. In 2021 and 2022, he was lackluster in playoff defeats to the rival San Francisco 49ers, and in January, he threw 2 early interceptions as Dallas fell behind 27-0 to the Green Bay Packers and lost 48-32 in the wild card round. The team hasn't gotten as far as the NFC Championship game since the 1995 season, which was also the last time it won the Super Bowl championship. Winning it all is the standard of greatness for the Cowboys and their fans, and it is very hard to imagine Prescott doing his part to help the Cowboys do just that. Some feel that unless he does very well in this coming season's playoffs, perhaps Dallas should move on from him and maybe see if backup Trey Lance has what it takes to get the job done. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Dak Prescott? Leave your opinion in the comments.